Welcome, everyone, to the Sickos Committee podcast. This is our podcast for the preview of week 7. Already week 7, which we're past the halfway point, which feels bizarre because it feels like we just started. I'm Jordan. I'm VP of Mai Tais this week. I'm drinking again, but hopefully things are not going to crash. This is going to go well. I restarted my computer fresh and I closed. That's why I'm a little late because I had to close all the windows. I closed down all the stuff that might conflict. We're good. Fingers crossed.
Did you have to have your mom came over and you closed all the tabs on her iPhone and everything? That's what you needed to do the computer? Yep. Okay.
Did you know on Chrome for iOS, if you have over 100 tabs, it just gives you a smiley face?
I never made it to 100 tabs, so that would have been like I get like 7, and then I'm like I can't go any further. But some people can go crazy.
On Safari, I have over 400 open currently.
Jesus, man, I can't do it, man.
Podcasting is a visual medium, so you can't all see my face, but I am deeply horrified right now.
It is a great face.
No, but he's the guy that has 30,000 emails unanswered.
I do too. Yeah.
And I'm the guy, like, if I see a 1, I am freaking out. I have to clear that shit. So
you and me, Escalante.
No. That's right. We're the same, so we're good.
So with me tonight, as you can already hear, is our Pitt correspondent, Pitt Girl, and our commissioner, Escalante, who are both goody two-shoes who always have inbox 0 and things like that. Pitt Girl, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. In my defense, it's more that the red bubble makes me incredibly anxious than anything else.
Got that. Commish, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. Just the thing is, like, it's weird. Like, I'm an appreciator of Sickos football, but like I cannot leave my inbox. But I mean, that's my real job. Is like I have to get the emails like immediately for like these escalated complaints that I deal with. Yeah. So it's like if I see that red bubble, it's just like, oh my god. And so even on my phone, I'm like, I have to clear it. It's just like a habit. It's just like the red light's going off. I'm like, clear, so I can relax and go, oh, okay, we're good.
I'll make you guys even more horrified every once in a while. When I get past 50,000 unread emails,
50,000.
I just archive them all. I just declare like bankruptcy. Don't read them.
Yeah.
Just select them all and just archive. Because if something's
that
important,
makes sense.
I can search it.
Right. You didn't read them at that point. If anything actually mattered, someone would have called you.
Exactly. I don't answer, but I don't answer phone calls either. And also, I don't like checking voicemail. So my voicemail will have a red bubble too.
Oh, Jesus.
My voicemail and phone box, like my phone and voicemail have red bubbles too, and that one makes my wife crazy. Because we'll be in the car, I'll plug it in, and it'll show up on the screen, and it'll be like, "Oh, you've got like 12 unlistened to voicemails." I was like, "Yeah, okay." She's like, "You need to check them." I was like, "I don't know, probably not."
Breaking news. If you need to get a hold of Jordan, smoke signals.
Yeah, that's probably the best. Text. I'm pretty good on text.
You answer my Discord messages every now and then like the text, and then like I email you like when I do the crazy recordings of the old timey voice. You're pretty much on that. So I guess I feel like special now. I mean,
you should. There we go.
That you actually answer my emails. So
there we go.
I don't know. I feel special. So thank you.
I live a very unexamined life. Let's put it that way. I think that's how someone would describe it. So week 7 is this weird combination of games that are very good and some games that we're not quite sure where to put our finger on it. So we'll start cranking through. We have on Wednesday night, we have Sun Belt action. We'll figure out something snappy for that. We have the Ragin Cajuns going to Marshall on Wednesday night.
So I believe I was listening to, who we listened to, Split Zone Duo. Godfrey's going to be at this game. So he's driving from Nashville to actually be at this game. So he's going to be in Huntington, West Virginia. So driving from Nashville to Huntington. I remember they played in the New Orleans Bowl, the R&L Carriers New Orleans Bowl that has the incredibly dated like trucking commercials where they just show 18-wheelers. Oh, God, I love those so much. They're so soothing and just relaxing. Like I could just sit in with the New Orleans Bowl. And
that's the only time they've ever played.
Yeah. So
this is the second time in history they're playing.
I know. So the first time they played, I remember the Ragin Cajun fans being upset that they had to play such a low-quality opponent in Marshall in the New Orleans Bowl. Now, the Marshall fans were upset about hearing that. Now, the Cajuns are going to Huntington, West Virginia, and it's a conference game. So I don't know what's going to happen. I know the podcast is going to be released after this. So I put in here just to predict the score of this one. So the Cajuns last year won the New Orleans Bowl 36-21.
Okay.
And I'm going to predict a score of 36-21, but this time Marshall winning.
So the Marshall line is minus 10.5. It feels like a Marshall win because the Ragin Cajuns have not had a good year. I'm feeling like 36-10.
Ooh.
Like a real whooping.
Oh.
Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm going to be contrarian just to be contrarian.
Do it.
27-24. Just
Cajun.
because.
Marshall wins or Cajuns win?
Marshall.
Oh, okay. So we're all
I think
on
Marshall is better.
Yeah,
But I also think that it's Wednesday and the Fun Belt is going to give us some fun.
Yeah, I had a weird feeling like before, like I saw the score to the New Orleans Bowl. Like my gut instinct was like 20, 29, like 25 for some odd reason.
Yeah.
Like a weird score, and I couldn't tell if Marshall wins or the Cajuns win. But again, me being a ULM homer, I can't pick the Cajuns to win. So I'm going 36-21, or my backup pick, is 29-25, Thundering Herd win. There's a weird safety, a blocked extra point return for 2. I'm hoping the Sun Belt gives that to us. The Sun Baction? No, that's not going to work out.
Baction. We'll workshop it.
Saction? No.
Also on Thursday night, another midweek game in West Virginia, I just realized. The Big 12 is playing on a Thursday night, and I have no clue why. That feels like very much not a Big 12 thing to do, but Baylor's going to Huntington. I just don't know why this is... Wait, this is West Virginia's third Thursday game of the year?
Yes, it is. Also, Baylor is going to Morgantown because Marshall is not playing 2 consecutive days.
Sorry. Yeah.
But yes, it is the third Thursday game for WVU. They are 1-1 because they lost the Brawl in Pittsburgh and then they won the Black Diamond. But I will say that it's a very WVU thing to play on Thursday, and so I suspect that is why it is happening. WVU and VT both play a lot of Thursday games for whatever reason, so it sort of makes sense for the Big 12 to adopt this, even though it is like objectively weird. Like if K-State was playing on Thursday, I would feel some type of way about it.
Yeah,
this is weird. Also sort of our Neil Brown watch game. It feels like Neil Brown is going to get, I don't know. He feels so tenuous at West Virginia. That whole thing just feels like it could go on a dime.
Yeah, I think every WVU game is a Neil Brown watch game for the foreseeable future. Yeah. Because we said the same thing about the Black Diamond game. And I just kind of think like if it gets real ugly, it could get real ugly.
I think our friend Jay Arnold is going to be there in Morgantown.
Yes, Jay's going to this game.
That's the Send Jay away game.
Because this is A&M's off week, so this was his Send Jay away game. Also on Thursday, Temple at UCF. UCF today released their space uniforms, and we sort of just started throwing around what else would be fun for space uniforms.
Is this their second version of their space uniform?
They had several.
At least.
Ooh, this year? I don't know. I know they've had like several in the past.
I thought they did one like a few weeks ago.
Air Force did.
So, I mean, UCF, I think they did it earlier this year. Now they have a new space uniform. And then this one, it says like space across the guy's visor. And it reminded me of like the ad from Ricky Bobby, Talladega Nights. Where he's like, I can't see. So I hope the player actually has the word space over his visor. Please.
It's not just space though. It's Space U. I figure I was musing on Twitter earlier that I thought the mascot that was the least likely to go to space was probably Goldie the Gopher because he's a ground-based mascot. That made sense to me. I posted that being all snarky, and then I Googled it, and Goldie has dressed up as an astronaut before for Halloween. So there's a picture of Goldie in a spacesuit. I was wrong. My apologies. I should have Googled first. That's what I get.
That's what you said on the tweet. So I was like, I'm outside watering my lawn because, it's San Antonio and we're on drought restrictions. So Tuesday is my water day, and I had to save my plants and my whatever is left on my lawn. My neighbors gave up and just threw down rock. But yeah, I saw that tweet and I was like, what is going on? He's like, I should have Googled this. Dude, There is so many like space grant schools though. This is like it's insane how many space grant schools there are.
Yeah, there are tons. Go for it.
Well, I mean, I don't know who put this line in after that. Is it the whoever says the real space grant school?
I know who put that in.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yes.
Yes.
Girl, tell me why Auburn's the real space grant school.
So Auburn, my take about this, and I will die on this hill, is that forget all the schools that get money for space. Forget UCF's whole thing. We all know that they are the thing that Godfrey says that they are. Auburn is the real space school because there is an Auburn flag on the moon. Ken Mattingly is an Auburn alum, and he left and he took a bunch of little Auburn flags to the moon with him when he was on the moon mission. He was on like Apollo 16, I think. Don't quote me on that. But he went to the moon and he took the little Auburn space flags and brought most of them back. But there is one that is still attached to like the bottom part of the moon lander on the moon. Does UCF have that? No.
I don't think they do. But they're also the school that I would feel is more likely to launch a washing machine-sized satellite at the moon, try to move it. So we may see a launch soon.
Yeah,
they try to crash something into the moon just to prove it.
Maybe that's why Auburn has Auburn Jesus. They're closest to Jesus.
Well, so theologically, the firmament. Theologically, the firmament.
There is another thing about this.
Joking. Come on,
there's another thing about this, and that is that. I am not myself Catholic. However, my understanding is that when a place is discovered, it automatically falls under the archdiocese of the location from which the discoverers came, which means that the Archbishop of Orlando or the Bishop of Orlando, the Orlando area, is also responsible for the moon.
That is true. That is actually 100% true.
Why is Orlando like the...
Because that's the closest one to Cape Canaveral.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So that's... Oh, but Auburn has a flag on the moon? I'm confused now.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No. Wait. So we're all just carving it up, basically, at this point. No, okay. Auburn didn't... Okay, so Escalante, Auburn didn't discover the moon. Just so we're clear.
All right.
They didn't discover the moon.
Well, I didn't say that. But...
I'm just making sure you all know.
Okay. No, I'm just I was just a little confused. Just to clarify here, so Orlando is basically the archdiocese of the moon.
Yes.
But like, and how did they? So the first people on the moon were from.
They blasted off from Cape Canaveral, which is inside the archdiocese of Orlando's like service territory.
Okay. Well, I mean, to me, Cape Canaveral's closest to like Cocoa Beach. And so I think the moon is owned by like those Ron John surf shops that you see on the interstate.
I'm going to read some notes from Wikipedia real fast because that's
what
we do on this podcast.
I am confused. So
William Borders, the first bishop of Orlando, claimed in 1969 to Pope Paul VI that the then active 1917 Code of Canon Law placed the newly explored territory of the moon under the ecclesiastical jurisdiction of the point of departure, making the Diocese of Orlando responsible for the moon following the flight of Apollo 11. If true, the total area of the diocese would be 14 million square miles, making it the largest Catholic diocese in existence. It is unknown if Pope Paul VI confirmed or rejected the bishop's claim. The current bishop rejects that claim.
Current bishop hates fun.
Moon church.
Yeah, there are a lot of weird space grant schools.
Yes.
I didn't know. Is Pitt a space grant school?
Yeah. Pitt is not to my, or well, evidently they are a space grant school, which is something I didn't know. There is an astronomy program at Pitt. I did take 2 classes in the astronomy program at Pitt, and there is an observatory owned by the university that's on the north side in the city limits. I've been there. It is pretty cool. There's a big telescope. You can go look at stuff if you're a Pitt student.
So some other schools, space grant, just list them off because we're talking about space. You got ULM, UConn, Idaho. So I picture Idaho. The Kibbe Dome is also like a planetarium.
It just opens up
telescope.
At the top.
It opens up and it has a giant telescope for the Kibbe Dome. New Mexico State, Akron, and then the Vandy Space Offense.
Yeah.
Apparently Vandy's a space. So
I also didn't know that there were Sun Grant schools.
Yes. So I put this in here. I was like,
trim these lists up, guys. This is
seriously. No, these are all the Sun Grant schools that we have. So basically, somebody, since UCF claims space, So somebody should claim the Sun and piss off Arizona State and the Sun Devil. Just do it. So there's like 6 Sun Grant schools. There is Penn State, Oklahoma State, Oregon State, Hawaii, South Dakota State is the national lead in Sun Grant Center, and then Tennessee. So I am declaring South Dakota State, we need some Jackrabbit-based Sun uniforms.
Okay.
And I mean, wear them for the Dakota marker this week, please.
We learn so much on this podcast, guys. We learned so much. On Friday night, UTSA is going to FIU, but this is going to be on the CBS Sports Network. That means that there might be different cameras.
Oh.
We might actually get to see what that stadium looks like in as neutral a white balance as possible.
I'll believe it when I see it.
I'm very confused on what it's going to look like, but I am going to watch because, you know, you got the Roadrunners going to FIU, which I don't think UTSA should have too much of a problem with FIU. But
the Friday night slate this week is not as great. I won't lie. Because we got Brown at Princeton on ESPNU.
Boo.
We got Navy at SMU, which maybe
that should be. I mean, Navy threw up 53 points last week, so
or not.
Yeah, Navy, but that was against Tulsa, who doesn't even try to defend the option. Yeah, don't get your hopes up about Navy.
They literally opted out of defending the option.
I don't.
Other cool thing about the UTSA FIU game, FIU is going for Miami Vice this time. It's their Vice uniforms.
Yeah.
So I am super excited. There's gonna be Vice shirts, Vice giveaways.
Send us stuff, please.
Like FIU, Miami's one true school. I've said this before.
That's right.
So going on to Saturday, we have a game that I'm excited about, but I don't understand the line. Kansas at Oklahoma, Saturday, 11 a.m. on ESPN2. I'm now saying what time games are and what channel they're on. By the way, if you noticed this is new. I'm seeing this line. It's somewhere between Oklahoma -7 and Oklahoma -7.5. I have no clue where that line exists.
I think it's because of the quarterback issue. They don't believe in the bean machine.
The mean bean machine?
The mean bean machine. And then there's the weird injury situation with Jalen Daniels. Like a reporter today said that he was out for the rest of the year with like a grade 3 shoulder sprain. And then he tweeted, was like, this is news to me. And I was like, you know, when I tweeted, I was like, get well soon, Jalen. And we believe in the mean bean machine. I didn't realize that he would be getting well that soon. We don't know the severity of the injury at this point. And then like the Coach Leopold tweeted that he was in the office and he's raising his arms. And I'm like,
oh yeah, okay. No, he looked like he's just chilling out.
The wife too, Coach's wife, Mrs. Leopold.
Not Leopold. Leopold was a Belgian. No. Leopold was a Belgian king.
Damn it! Right.
Or the hero of one of Verdi opera, Leopold.
My bad.
I'm looking now what a grade 3 shoulder separation or AC joint sprain is because I have no clue what the grades are. This involves the tearing of the covering and ligaments connecting the shoulder blades to the clavicle.
Ouch.
That's bad.
Yeah, that seems.
I feel like I need that. Causes a mild to moderate permanent bump over the top of the shoulder in the AC joint. Pain typically lasts 4 to 8 weeks. Surgery is usually not required.
That's allegedly the injury, so we don't even know. And really, that's bad on us for not trusting, trusting news that doesn't come from Swim Swam.
Swim Swam is the only source of news.
Only source of news. I am still waiting for Virginia to get that SEC invite based off of swimming news, but that is the one that I'm still waiting on. So thank you, Swim Swam, for that. One thing I wanted to mention about this game, I don't know what's going to happen. OU may win this one. Who knows? It was a great game last year too, and there was that questionable penalty or like push that OU was able to beat Kansas last year.
This was the open the gates up, everyone come in.
That's when they opened the gates, everybody come in game. Yeah, so it was close, and they were winning. So I mean, maybe Kansas is got something here. It's a new coach, new quarterback, so maybe they got a good shot. They are going to Norman. One of our committee members this morning, he said that his head keeps turning Brent Venables' name into burnt vegetables, and he can't stop it.
I like that. That's not as good as Stetson Bennigan's, but real
Definitely
close.
Close. So we got Coach Burnt Vegetables, and then we have Stetson Bennigan's.
Before we go on to Miami, Virginia Tech at 11:30 Central, I want to give you guys what's become a weekly feature here on the committee podcast. We look at Saturday's ACC network schedule.
This
Yeah.
channel is so awesome. Hire us,
So-
ACC Network. Seriously, we will go and televise your alternate network game and just celebrate that.
So at 9 a.m., it looks like we're getting an old. Is that yeah? It has to be. Well, so let's start at 6 a.m. when you're up early. You're getting Florida State versus Clemson that I think was from last year. Then at 9 a.m., you get Syracuse and North Carolina from last year. Then
Okay.
you get 2 episodes of All Access North Carolina State football.
Is that a series?
Yeah.
Okay.
Episodes 2 and 3 of the series. Then at 1 p.m., you get We're Number One, the story of 1990 ACC football.
Is
Then
that
you
Georgia Tech?
and then at 2 p.m., you get We're Number One, the story of 1981 Clemson football. And then at 3:30, you get Syracuse, North Carolina State, which should be a very good game.
Ooh. Oh yeah, I can't
And
wait for that one.
then they get an 8 p.m. game that is North Carolina at Duke.
That should be fun.
So good thing. But this week, instead of showing Miami, Virginia Tech at 11:30 Central, they are opting to show more of the All Access with North Carolina State football and the We're Number One stories. They are sticking Miami, Virginia Tech on the ACC regional network, like off the back end.
So like the Bally's network, I guess, like the Bally. Okay,
Like they are sticking this thing where no one can see it. They are burying
Yeah.
it.
Like
we're
your
finding it.
AT&T Sportsnet whatevers. Yeah. Which, I mean, honestly, no one should watch this.
Yeah,
Don't.
are you kidding me?
Do not. I mean, we should. We should.
We're watching this. Yes,
That's
totally.
we do this
We should.
for you guys.
Are you kidding me? My aunt is a huge Hurricanes fan. So, and then again, they were like kind of like my passive team because my mom's side of the family's from Miami, and then that's where she grew up. So I have to watch this one, and then it's at Virginia Tech. So on ACC Network, we'll get Enter Sandman. Oh, I'm sorry, the ACC alternate.
Not on ACC Network. On the ACC alternate stream.
It feels like we're gonna get Metallica on like Napster.
Yeah, it's exactly what it's gonna be.
Someone is holding their cell phone up to the speakers into the
Mhm.
stream.
That's
All right, do
exactly
it.
what it's going to be.
RSN. One other Virginia Tech related thing that I want to talk about because it came out today and it is not at all related to the Miami game, but there is a new trophy for the game formerly known as the Commonwealth Cup, but I guess it's the Commonwealth Clash now. And it is literally a bronze Hokie bird and a bronze Cavalier who is like just a very like you have to go look at it because his face and his expression is like deeply disturbing.
It's
And
great.
they are like fighting over the state of Virginia like it's a wishbone. Like they're both leaning back like they want to rip it in half.
Yeah,
This trophy is art.
It's
I
good.
think think the Commonwealth Clash is going to be the overall thing, like amongst all teams,
Okay.
and the cup will still exist for football. This
Okay.
thing reminds me of that awful Confederate general statue.
Yes,
no.
it looks like that statue of Nathan
Yeah.
Bedford Forrest.
Yeah, that one. Yes, it looks just like that, except they made a turkey and a dude with some cuffed pants.
We're just missing the deranged horse.
I mean, the state of Virginia, they don't have like the outside of it. What is that area called?
Oh, someone complained about that. Let me find it.
There's a little
The
piece
Virginia
that they're
part of the
missing.
Delmarva Peninsula, yeah.
Yes,
the Marble
yeah.
Peninsula
That
area. Yeah,
It
That's
doesn't
right.
really
They don't have that
attach.
there. So to me, like just looking at it, it seems like they're fighting over like a drumstick. I mean, maybe like a piece of bacon, but it's just like a little oddly shaped. Like, I mean, it's just the state of Virginia, so it's a little bit weird and unique. And I mean, weirder trophies are. I mean, we love those. I don't. Do we know the weight of this? Because we really like heavy trophies.
I'm just looking that up
We-
right now. Thank you for
we're a
asking.
big- You're searching it already.
I don't know that I have a
just-
weight for it yet. At One Central Pac-12 network, so that means I'll be getting on my VPN again to get this.
And give me
Calic-
some VPN. I want to watch this too.
Cal at Colorado. This should be a great game because Cal, I think, is absolutely just going to run over Colorado, which is a weird thing to say.
I personally, in my head here, I think this is Colorado's last shot at a win.
I would probably agree with you.
Last week, all the interim coaches won.
Yes.
Colorado was on a bye, so this is the first week that they have their interim coach. It is a 1 p.m. Central kick, which would be noon, and Cal, that's like 11 a.m. for them. So it's going to be earlier for them, not necessarily maybe body clock. Then we're talking about crazy boulder elevation. So maybe you get a little sleepy, Cal. Maybe you get a little, they need to drink a little bit more water, some hydration. Who knows? Maybe they participate in the lax laws, and well, no, they have that in California. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
But in this situation, I think, maybe they listen to that chain smoker song too much, and they steal a mattress out in Boulder or something like that. But who knows?
Bravo. Hey, you know what, man? That was a great old man pop culture reference, because that song's like 7 years old, but for you,
it is.
That's recent and I like it.
You know, it's funny, like 7 years ago,
that song came out when I was in college. I'm going to go scream now.
Okay. No, seriously, we went on a road trip to Colorado, and that song kept coming on like the satellite radio. And so that is like drilled in my head. Best game day show picker, the chain smokers ever.
That is true. That is true.
This is Katy Perry erasure.
Yeah,
no, I was being sarcastic, by the way. I'm just mad at Katy Perry because she made that corn dog joke about LSU. So
this Colorado schedule is awful.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
they may have a hope against Arizona State, but the rest, it's like the worst.
Like you couldn't have drawn a worse schedule.
Yeah.
So Cal at home at Oregon State, home against Arizona State for homecoming, maybe. Oregon at home, no. At the Coliseum for USC, no. At Washington, no. And Utah at home to close the season, no.
Their out-of-conference schedule didn't do them any favors either. They scheduled TCU, Air Force, and Minnesota.
No one knew that TCU was going to go good this year, though. TCU was...
That's
but still, if you're Colorado, you shouldn't be scheduling 2 Power 5 teams and Air Force out of conference. What are you doing?
Just schedule Colorado State again, guys. We all wanted this game this year.
Yeah, we did. We definitely did. And then Colorado State won last week. So maybe there's a little extra juice for the Buffaloes to get this one. But, as you stated, or as you wrote in the show notes, Oski's coming for you, Ralphie.
I'm going to be cranking out more Oski horrors this week. So everyone get ready for that. I'm excited.
I'm numb to those now. So
I know, it's great.
But one will catch me off guard.
Come out. When they start coming out with teeth, that's when it starts getting really disturbing. The teeth are really weird, and that's really starts bugging people. It's nice.
It is Spooky Month.
You can still feel something, and that's good. At 1 p.m. Central on ESPN3, UConn goes to Ball State. UConn can get 3 wins in a row. That would be their first 3-win streak since 2015, where they beat East Carolina, Tulane, and they beat number 13 Houston at home.
Can they turn back the clock?
That was Tom Herman's first season. In fact, you know what? That was Tom Herman's only loss that year at Houston. They ran the table, but lost 17-20 in East Hartford. How do I not remember this is like wonderfully stupid? And that was a conference game too, because that was back when they were in the ACC or AAC.
Wow,
that's beautiful.
God, that's beautiful.
That's crazy. I mean, it's going to be tough for UConn going into Muncie, Indiana, but I don't know. Ball State's feisty. They pulled like a nice, bronze stock comeback against Northern Illinois. So it'd be fun if they can do it. They can do it. We're going to be glued to it. It's on ESPN3. I wonder if the cameras are going to be bad, because when it says ESPN3, it's like the school's camera.
That's the local.
It's the school's camera, and then you get like the school broadcast, and then like the graphic just like floats over the screen. So when the camera's moving, the graphics just like static and it's not moving at all. It's great.
So that Tom Herman staff, they beat Florida State in the Peach Bowl that year. They beat all these ranked teams, and that one loss was to UConn in East Hartford. God, I wish I remembered this better, because that's hilarious. At 2:30 on ESPN, Arkansas is going to BYU in the middle of the season. I don't know why, but apparently this game is happening. We were promised last episode that this was going to be a BYU get right game after getting beat by Notre Dame in Vegas. The BYU is just going to wake up and all of a sudden jump on Arkansas, and I want to believe that. That feels good to me.
I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel like it's going to be stupid. Like there's going to be something incredibly stupid here, and like when Mississippi State went to BYU, I feel like there's going to be something stupid that is going to happen here, and I'm going to be watching. I mean, Sam Pittman maybe eats a cougar tail on the sideline. I have no idea. Okay. But, again, it's going to be something stupid. Let's Let's see it. I want to see like Hogs fans in Provo. Like I know there's going to be a lot that travel to Utah, but I just want to see that little corner of like red in the BYU stadium, and I just want to see them go hog wild and nuts. And I hope KJ. No. That was not a intentional one, but okay.
I would like to posit a hypothesis that strange things generally happen when we let SEC teams go west of like Texas, like central Texas. Like I was trying to think of like big games where that happened in the relatively recent past, and like we had that banger of a Rose Bowl that Georgia was in. Like everything that I can think of off the top of my head, weird stuff happened. I don't remember exactly what happened when Auburn played at Wazoo, but I'm sure it was weird, right? Like it's just how this works.
That feels right.
Nobody remembered that one.
Literally no one there remembered it because
No,
because they sell Fireball in bags, and that's a problem.
That's right.
Shout out to the Firebox.
Well, I mean, Arkansas already went.
Firebox? It's like Francia, but it's like
a little slap the bag with my Fireball. Woo!
Yeah, seriously. Like this one, the last time Arkansas traveled west this year, they kicked the field goal off the top of the upright, and that was in Dallas. So
I don't know. Powers get weirder the further they go from Little Rock.
I don't know. I have no idea. Fayetteville. Yeah, I don't know what's gonna happen. It's weird.
At 2:30 on the actual ACC network, because this is going to be a great game. North Carolina State travels to the Carrier Dome to fight the Orange of Syracuse. We'll find out maybe. Actually, the best part is we probably won't find out because North Carolina State's quarterback is probably not going to play, their main quarterback. And their backup apparently is quote unquote some dude they pulled from the stands, according to their fans. I don't know what the truth is of that, but they're acting like it's some dude who's like he just doesn't know how to throw a pass.
Did he play last week?
Was that who played?
I don't know. Like I think their quarterback got hurt last week, and then they still came back. And so NC State football, let's go. I mean, I don't know what happened there, but they're saying, I think what was it, the Bear from Game Day was just like, hey, this has sneaky Sickos game of the week potential because the quarterback is potentially injured. He's not going to require surgery. He's day-to-day for his throwing arm. So that's not necessarily good. And so I don't really know if the backup is any good.
Apparently, if the backup comes in, everyone's saying they're just going to run the ball 1,000 times. Like, that's just how, like, they're just going to ground and pound it, which means that we're going to be looking at, see if Syracuse's stout defense can hold up in the Carrier Dome.
So we're not going to get our answer to, is Syracuse good?
No.
Again.
Because if they win, no, because if they win, clearly we won't know. And if they lose and it's close, we still won't know. If they get blown out, who knows? Because they're not playing North Carolina State like as they were designed to be. Like North Carolina State is not playing the way they were designed to play. So
no,
I have no clue. I have the GIF of what the fuck girl. I'm gonna keep that in the chamber and just.
I don't know who she is. I don't know who she is, but I mean, whatever. She gave us the GIF of the season. Yeah, it looks like O'Leary got hurt, and then the backup quarterback threw one pass, incomplete, and then there was another quarterback who threw one pass for -5 yards. But that was a wide receiver.
Okay. So always a good choice.
I think it was like Chambers. Who is Chambers? Chambers is a quarterback. So on the season, he's thrown for 48 yards and 1 touchdown, and his QBR is 24.3. So he could possibly be starting this. We're not going to get an answer to, is Syracuse good? We're not going to get an answer to, is NC State good? This is great. Like, I mean, we want good things for both of these teams. But, you know, we have this running, is Syracuse good thing, but it's like somebody tweeted at us today, like, you're going to, is Syracuse good all the way to the playoff?
Mm-hmm.
And
oh, yeah.
If that happens, I mean, the committee is going to be incredibly excited. Just like, we love this. Like, anytime there's an outsider of the rankings or whatever that fights their way into the playoff, we're all for it.
Is Syracuse good? Is our Texas is back? And I am extremely here for that.
Also at 2:30 on a game that got buried on ESPN Plus for some reason, Western Kentucky goes to Mitsu in the battle of teams that won it out of Conference USA but couldn't get their shit together to leave together. So this feels like a crab bucket game.
No. Middle Tennessee didn't want to go, and Western
Right.
Kentucky was trying to drag them.
Yes.
And I feel like, again, with the Stockstill stuff, that Middle Tennessee has like settled. Like they're just like, I am not moving here. I like my food this way. Do not do anything. I am happy here. Do not move me.
There's no love left in this marriage, but we
How
can get
dare
along
you?
well enough.
How dare you sit in my recliner, Western Kentucky? This is my recliner. This is my spot. The remote goes here. That is Middle Tennessee. And this is why the battle is called the 100 Miles of Hate.
That's great. Is that real?
It is real. That's the name of the rivalry. 100 Miles of Hate. It is a great rivalry name.
That's amazing. Sold. I'm sold on this. Also, JMU is going to Georgia Southern. Every time I put quarterback stats into my stat gumbo, Georgia Southern's QB, Kyle Vantrease, ends up being like an outlier, no matter what things I put in there. He has thrown, let me find it, because it's an insane number. What was our last?
It's like 14 touchdowns and 11 interceptions, or is it 13 touchdowns and 11 interceptions? It's insane. And he's thrown for like 1,600 yards or something. It's nuts.
Noted air raid offense, Georgia Southern.
So he's the Buffalo transfer that I found that kicked an 81-yard punt against Nebraska last year for Buffalo. And then so I already have his name in my head because of an 81-yard punt. I mean, this guy, Clay Helton, got him to go down there, and then he is just slinging it like anywhere without a care, and they're just going nuts, throwing the ball. He's just wild with it, and we love it. That's the Detmer stat. The Detmer is just like basically throw it. You don't care where it is. A lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns, a lot of interceptions. He's basically in the top two almost every week.
For reference, last year when he was at Buffalo, over 10 games he played, he threw for about 1,850 yards. This year, he's played 6 games and he's about to hit 2,000. 13 TDs, 11 ints. And Clay Helton looks like the happiest man alive. I think like everything's going so well at Southern, just in terms of like the general feel of things. I'm just so happy. They lost to State last week, which always sucks. But I like what they're doing at Southern right now. They're a lot of fun. I know what Clay Helton looks like now. I could recognize him. I could pick him out of the lineup, and I am excited for what he's doing, which is something I've never been able to say about Clay Helton football before.
Pitt Girl looks concerned by that. We know what Clay Helton looks like.
It's just, I refuse to imagine him as looking like anything. He is just an unknown entity, and I would like to keep him that way.
So at 6 p.m., we got an NFL Network game, guys. Sunbelt on the NFL Network. Again? ULM at South Alabama. Do you guys know who South Alabama's offensive coordinator, who's leading them to these like great teams this year? Do you know who it is?
No.
It's Major Applewhite.
Yes.
Good for him.
He's at South
Genuinely
Alabama.
Good for him.
He's at South Alabama. His second year as offensive coordinator there. They're 4-1. The only team they've lost to was by 1 point at UCLA, which now looks like a good loss.
Was that weird fake field goal that they tried.
Mm-hmm.
And if they would have kicked the field goal and made it, they would have had a 4-point lead. So they may have beaten them if they did that. So I don't blame Major Applewhite here, because that was probably on the special teams coordinator and the head coach.
They're having a sneaky good season. I still think that their colors and their logo make them look like a creative team from NCAA. Like they have a very strong creative team vibe.
Yeah, red, white, and blue.
But they're absolutely
USA.
having... and they're USA. But they've been having a sneaky good season. ULM beat them last year. I don't know that that's going to happen again.
No, I think South Alabama's like favored by like 18 or 18 and a half.
Yeah, something like that. It's a lot.
It's a lot. But I mean, Terry does.
It feels like Terry will cover. It feels like Terry's going to cover that. But yeah,
I feel like Terry covers it. And I just want to know if Terry's going to pilot a Warhawk plane and land it on the battleship in Mobile. That's all I want. Just do it. I want Terry with like the old school like flight jacket, the bomber jacket, and then the goggles and everything like that. And he lands, on the USS Alabama, just lands the Warhawk plane.
6:30 on NBC, because NBC hates good football. Stanford is going to Notre Dame. They play for the Legends Trophy, which is a piece of California redwood on the base and then like a crystal cup on top. I could not find a weight for it. I'm working on that. Because
We want to
all
know
I care,
how all these
I care about
trophies,
now.
how heavy they are. That's
all I
we
care
want to
about
know
now is weight. That's all I
We
care
want
about now
weight.
is just how heavy something is.
Can't wait to
After-
watch this game with the Notre Dame State media.
Oh yeah.
It's the best part about Notre Dame home
is it on
games is
Peacock?
like Mike Tirico or whatever, just like
Oh,
going
no,
full North Korean propaganda.
This is was it the Collinsworth kid? And then is it Jason Garrett on this one?
I think
God.
so. I think it's Jason
Oh.
Garrett now.
Oh
I mean,
wow.
Used
So
to be Mike Tirico.
I have no reason to watch this game at all. Then
last
Good
year
God.
last year was Mike Tirico and Drew Brees. This year you have is it Jace or Jack Collinsworth and Jason Garrett. This feels like a big downgrade in broadcasting to me. Like I remember the first time we watched a USFL game, and he was doing like the halftime show of the first USFL game.
I remember
like,
that.
and I was like, are they like prepping him for something? And I had no idea they were prepping him for Notre Dame football. And oh my God.
At 7 p.m. on Flow, we have the battle for the Rio Grande or the Battle of I-25, or we're workshopping new names. New Mexico is going to New Mexico State.
That's right. They're driving down I-25, maybe about 3 hours or so to battle, which is like Las Cruces. Since I was there, it's weird because the city is like split by interstates. Like there's like I-10 and I-25 like create basically the split there, and the town is in the middle of both of them. And I tried to explain this rivalry to my friend Richard while we were on the 9-hour drive to Las Cruces. And he just called everything the Holy War because I mentioned the Holy War between BYU and Utah. So he calls this the New Mexico Holy War.
Cool.
So,
okay. Sure.
So that's what he wants to call it. I know we need a better name, and it's not like the New Mexico Holy War or anything like that, but that's what he called it while we're driving 9 hours trapped in my 2012 Volvo, but whatever.
This is the 112th meeting of this game, by the way.
What if we called it the Hatch Chili Bowl?
Oh, red versus green. Oh man, if one team were green, if one team were green, it could be red versus green. God, that'd be so good.
New Mexico State may need to change some colors to green here, but because Hatch is closer. The town of Hatch, there's an actual town or city in New Mexico called Hatch, is actually on I-10, maybe about like 50 miles outside of Las Cruces, 50, 60 miles. So maybe if New Mexico State changes their colors to the Hatch chili colors, that'd be good. It'd be red versus green salsa wise, and that'd be awesome.
Largest margin of victory in this rivalry.
Oh God,
was in 1917, where New Mexico State won 110-3.
Oh, geez.
I don't know what rules they were playing by at that point, but the longest winning streak, however, is held by New Mexico.
Yes,
they won 18 in a row from 38 to 58.
Okay.
Ouch.
They got their revenge for that 110-3 beatdown. So I think they took that personal for that many years.
And the coolest thing was something we found out just today was that they're going to broadcast this game in Navajo, the Navajo language, which New Mexico State has, I think, 2 players on their team who are Navajo or some other and from other tribes as well. That's really great. Like that's cool as hell. Like that's great local engagement. That's amazing.
That's the guy. I think it was like Colin Dever or Dever. He was in the booth with us, and he didn't realize the Sickos Committee was in the same booth with him when he walked in with his camera. He didn't realize, and he was upset. that we were there. So he's the one that gave that news. So I want to give him credit for that. I wrote a nice little blog about my trip there.
It was great. It was really good.
I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun, and again, I'm getting Las Cruces like Instagram ads and New Mexico ads. I've been back for like over like a week now, and it's like the official beer of New Mexico State, and it's like try this in New Mexico State, and I'm like, you don't have to persuade me to go back. I will go back to New Mexico. It was quite enchanting, and I just can't. I don't know. I can't get that state out of my head. It's so awesome. The town again. I love it. I'm like beaming when I talk about it.
I can tell. Crazy. Yeah, you're glowing. Like when I talked, like you look how I looked when I was talking about the Texas Oklahoma game.
Don't do that. You offended one of our Oklahoma members
I know I did.
of the committee. So we apologize to you for that.
I apologize for nothing.
No, I am apologizing.
No, I don't care.
Okay, I know you don't care,
Nope.
Mr. Braggadocious Texas fan.
Don't care.
I'm neutral, and I'm inclined to agree that Oklahoma could stand to be taken down a peg. Go off, Jordan.
There we go.
Y'all can do that. I'm gonna hedge my bets. You know, OU,
God.
do your thing. I am not. I don't want to fight with Oklahoma.
OU, you keep doing the thing you're doing right now. You're right. Commish is absolutely right. OU, you keep doing your thing that you're doing right now because it's working out great.
That was not intentional. That was not intentional on my part. I promise.
Brent Venables, lock him down right now.
You mean Brent Vegetables, but okay.
Do you not have Jimbo money, Oklahoma? Can you not afford to give him 10 years back, cash backed? I thought you guys had money. I don't know.
All right,
I thought you were SEC.
He's got these Mai Tais in him. All right, he's talking all this trash now. All this, he wants to fight with these Mai Tais.
We have a legit nightcap this week. We have a Hawaii home game. Finally, we're going back. This is going to be Nevada at Hawaii. I think it's on the Mountain West channel stream. I don't think it's on Spectrum only. Let me make sure about that.
So you're telling me the real Hawaii test is going to be finding the game first.
It really has been. Here. Yeah, that really has been the truth for a while. The Hawaii radio call was always fun. I did that when I was, it is on Team One as well. So it looks like it's on Mountain West Video, the Team One app, and then Spectrum pay-per-view if you're on the islands. So what I'm saying is easily available. Very easily available. This is a midnight Eastern kick. Yeah, a midnight Eastern kick, 11 p.m. Central. Nevada -6 feels correct. Hawaii doesn't seem to have like a home field advantage this year because they're still finding what they are. Over-under is 49.5, which feels way too high for these teams.
Honestly, I think this is going to be a good game. I feel like these
it should be.
matched teams. Hawaii almost beat San Diego State last week. They took the lead with about a minute or so left, and then San Diego State was able to drive down and get a field goal to win. So Hawaii could have pulled one off. So I feel like maybe Hawaii's somewhat turning the corner as much as Hawaii can this year due to their situation and finances and everything of that nature. So it should be a good one. Will I make it up to the end of the broadcast? That's probably. I mean, I've passed every week so far this week, but just seeing this at 11 p.m. Central, I am quite discouraged.
You can feel it. Like, you can feel it in your bones, can't you?
I'm like, I'm old. I don't know if I can do this. But if I stock up on Mountain Dew energy drinks, maybe I can make it. I mean, again, Team One Sports app, if you can, like, cast it to, like, a TV, it's a little bit better. But sometimes the app doesn't cast, depending on, like, Chromecast or whatever you try to get it to the TV. I may just put it on the phone and watch it, but this is gonna be a good matchup. I feel like this should be a really good game, similar to the Colorado State Nevada game. So I feel like this should be pretty good, and this would be great.
Do you know how like watching Hawaii games when I'm on the T1 app? Because you can do picture-in-picture on iPhone now. Mm-hmm. So I pull myself a nice warm bath, get in the bathtub, get my phone out, pour a glass of champagne. Hawaii game kicks. It's beautiful.
Live your best life.
You got to treat yourself sometimes.
Are you in a bath with like, bath salts and like, bath bombs? Are you dropping like bath bombs for like?
Yeah, I am.
Like fancy? Okay.
Oh yeah, okay. I got bath bombs. Oh, it's great. I treat myself for those Hawaii kicks. If I'm at home and just chilling. Yeah, sit in the bath, enjoy it. Yeah, it's great.
Drinking Mai Tais, Wallies. What kind of music you got going on? You got some Dido?
No, it's pure Hawaii football. I just pump the audio for that. I gotta hear the audio.
I want to thank you. Oh God, you're not gonna clip that, are you? No,
oh, no, not at all. Not at all.
Leave it in. Leave it in.
Well, I mean, I could have sang Toto's Africa instead, but
that is true.
I went with the Dido, so it's fine.
Hey, Pitt Girl, how you feeling about the bye week?
It's bye week. Happy bye week. I also just want to take a second, even though this is not the retroactive show, to shout out the one, the only, the Israel Abanikanda.
Yes. So say that again for Commish.
Yeah, I'm not going to do it. No, I'm not trying. I don't care.
It's not that hard, I promise.
So Israel
Israel
Anaconda?
Abanikanda.
Abanikanda. Okay, that's right.
Yes.
That's me.
Who is now Pitt's single game leading rusher.
Yes.
Which is
Ooh.
super exciting. Yes.
And he passed
Guess whose
Tony
record
Dorsett.
he broke? Yes, he
Tony
did.
Dorsett. He passed Tony Dorsett. Yep. I'm
Yes.
well aware of the
And
old school Pitt records because, again, my father is from Pittsburgh. He grew up in the Mount Lebanon area. So
hell yeah.
I probably said that wrong.
That is correct, actually.
Oh, I did. Yes. All right.
It's
all right.
not
I got Pitt
Mount
credit.
Lebanon.
Yes. No.
It's not Lebanon.
Yeah,
No.
Lebanon,
Lebanon.
they're both
Lebanon.
fine.
Gotcha.
It's just not Lebanon, that's the country.
Not
Okay,
Lebanon.
gotcha.
No.
Yeah.
Also, on a related note, there was a Defector article about this, and Izzy also tied a Pitt record for single game rushing touchdowns. That is held originally set by quarterback Norman Bill Budd in a 71-0 win over Ohio Medical College, which was
what
written
year is that?
It is now the University of Ohio.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
But here's the thing about it, was
Okay.
written up in the Pittsburgh Post as the headline, quote, "Team which represents college at Athens is unmercifully slaughtered by wearers of blue and gold."
Ooh.
Again,
they
like
just wrote better things back then.
no,
really
seriously,
did.
this is why I try to imitate, and like we have Blue writing these too, like helping me out with writing these. This is why I try to imitate like the early 1900s, 1920s writing style, which is it was like heavy alliteration and like just brutal headlines to get the message across. And I mean, I love stuff like that. That is like my favorite thing. Like in the off season, I fell in love with it, and like Jordan loves that stuff too. So reading that's fantastic. And I think I may have said something wrong with the amount of touchdowns he had for the year, because I said that he tied Iowa, but I thought he had. Somebody said that he actually had more than Iowa now because he had more on the year than what he had previously.
I believe he has 13 touchdowns on
Yes,
the year. Not
so
sure
the
how many
stat wasn't
Iowa has.
updated. The Iowa had 7, and I said that he tied Iowa, but actually he passed Iowa and almost doubled Iowa in one game.
Jesus.
So that's another shot at Iowa, who has a bye, which, I mean, the bye week I don't know. That's going to be a close 0-0 tie for Iowa there.
Also, speaking of bye week, it is National Coming Out Day, so shout out to our LGBT listeners. It is bye week, so be awesome. It's bye week for some people. Be awesome.
Do it.
Nebraska. So some Big Ten Network action. We're going to back up in time a little bit. Nebraska at Purdue on the Big Ten Network at 6:30 p.m. Purdue wins this, I think, unless something goes weird. But it's Purdue, so it could.
It's the Big Ten West. Like any game that's in the Big Ten West, we don't know what's going to happen in this division. We don't. It seems quite far behind the Big Ten East. A little bit.
Yeah. A little bit? You want to say a little bit?
Well,
any division that has Iowa in it is automatically at the bottom of football. Don't at me.
It does feel like they're literally playing a different brand of football. So here's a fun statement for you guys. Has the Big Ten West ever won the Big Ten championship?
Off the top of my head, no.
Wait. Okay.
It has to have happened at least once, but I can't think of an incident when it did.
Oh man, was there one year like Ohio State was like disqualified because of like the tattoos or something like that?
But that was back when they were leaders and legends.
Oh, okay. So that was the leaders.
So Wisconsin has won the Big Ten championship game twice, but it was both as members of the leaders division. They have never won. The West has never won it since they did that split in 2014.
They're gonna have to redo that when USC and UCLA come in there.
Big Ten West, you keep doing your thing. You keep trying, guys. I have confidence. We also have Minnesota at Illinois on the Big Ten Network at 11 a.m.
That game feels like who wins that could settle that division, but again, it's the Big Ten West because every week it's a week to week. I don't know if Minnesota has their running back, maybe they win it, and then I don't know the status of
is Ibrahim going to play? I don't know.
I remember he was in uniform, but he was kind of banged up when they lost to Purdue, and then I think they had a week off. So I'm hoping he's healthy. Also, Illinois, I don't know if their quarterback, DeVito, is back. Yes. So that's just something that's going to be quite interesting. and
He
that's
is
probably
back, by
going
the
to
way.
be.
He is
He
back,
is
by the way.
okay. Perfect.
Ibrahim's back. Mo Ibrahim's
Perfect.
back.
So we don't know about DeVito, but again, Big Ten West. That's our stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
that's our division. That's the one that was like 32nd in our poll. The
Yeah.
entire Big Ten West,
Mm-hmm.
the entire Big Ten West almost got ranked as a division.
They
So
almost all got ranked as teams.
yes,
Like
I mean,
it was close.
so maybe they ate their own votes. That's like the Heisman votes when there's
Oh
like
god,
two players from the same.
it's an Ouroboros of Big West. Good God.
I have
I
a
gotta
real
make it up
question
there.
though.
Go
Okay.
for it. We take real
Is
questions.
Illinois like is it I mean in Big Ten West adjusted terms, of course, but like is Illinois good?
They're
Is
fun. They're fun at
Illinois
least.
is Illinois Big Ten West Syracuse?
Yes.
They're orange and they're
Yeah.
blue.
Yeah. They look
100%.
like
And they have-
Syracuse.
And they
I'm
have
not
a
sure if they're
former.
good.
They have a former Syracuse quarterback too.
They do. That's
Mhm.
right. I like Illinois looks like fun at least. They play what Bert wanted to play at Wisconsin, like that kind of football. He went like they
Yeah.
play smash mouth football. It's fun to watch. That's all you can ask for. Like if you're Illinois, steal a couple of games, look fun while you're doing it.
I honestly I enjoy this Illinois team. Their defense will just grind you. Like they will just
Oh yeah,
and then
grind it. Oh yeah,
that's right.
Bert, grind me.
Bert grinding.
Oh yeah.
I had to say it again. We've lost Pitt Girl. She's
Oh
lost everything.
yeah.
She's just done. She's done after that one. So no, but seriously, that's what they do on both sides of the ball. They will just run the ball. I think their running back in the Iowa game had like 30 something carries
Mhm.
for like 150 yards, and they just on the defense, like their D line is just they will just eat up your offensive line. Like it feels like what Bielema wanted to do at Arkansas with SEC talent that he's
Yes,
able
right.
to do at Illinois. I enjoy them, and their fans are loving it. Honestly, they're setting records that they hadn't touched since like 1989. The legend of Jeff George, the Purdue transfer who went to Illinois. So he's like, don't mention Jeff George in West Lafayette. He's hated. And then also he went to the Colts. Like Jeff George is hated by the Colts fans, so like Jeff George is not welcome in the state of Indiana at all. He's one of the all-time like Detmer leaders for like single season records, so we kind of love Jeff George that way.
We also have in the Big Ten, Wisconsin and Michigan State playing.
I just want like Michigan State. Anytime they play, I want it to be like gloomy,
Yeah.
and I want it to be like rainy or snowy and windy and ugly. The high I think is like 53, and it's going to be very cloudy with maybe about a 40% chance of rain, maybe about 13-mile-an-hour winds in where they're playing, and it's just like the joking like EPL thing, like can you do it on a cold night in Stoke City?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
You know, basically, can you do that there? I want that to be like, can you do it on an ugly weather day in Lansing, Michigan?
My favorite thing about this is that Michigan State isn't even really the like shitty weather team anymore. Like this made so much sense for Mark D'Antonio football, but now Michigan State's trying to be cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're not,
and they still have to play in weather like this.
I have really switched over to Eastern being my like gritty weather team nowadays. Like Eastern Michigan, right? Exactly right. The sky should match the field. It should look like someone's filming it on their 2004 webcam. Like that's what that game should look like. It makes me happy.
You got the Logitech going.
Exactly right. One frame every 2 seconds. Oh yeah.
I want Mel Tucker to come out in shorts in a bad weather game.
Yep.
Do it. Look cool.
Every Midwestern
shorts.
dad.
Like no, seriously. Hoodie and shorts and coach the game.
Auburn's going to Ole Miss. This tends to be, we found out, the sort of like line for Auburn coaches.
This is fun. I did some research on this one. So for some odd reason, Auburn always, if they lose to Ole Miss, it's just like a sign of things have gone too far. Like it's, oh no, we cannot lose to Ole Miss, which is weird. This is like, it's Ole Miss. Like Auburn and Ole Miss really didn't play a bunch at all. There was like times in like the 60s and 70s and 80s. They really didn't play that much at all. So Auburn all time is 35-10 or 35-11, depending if you factor in the vacated games or anything of that nature. And 2 out of the last 3 times that Auburn has lost to Ole Miss, they fired their coach. Gene Chizik in 2012 was fired. The senator from Alabama, Mr.
Ugh.
Yeah, that guy in 2008, they lost. The only coach that survived was Gus. Gus survived in 2015.
He's a
So the
survivor.
last time Ole Miss beat Auburn was in 2015. Tuberville was in 2008. Chiswick was in 2012, and the time before that was Eli Manning in 2003.
Okay.
So that tells you how many times that Ole Miss has not beaten Auburn. So if the Lane Train goes up in there,
I'm feeling
and
this.
if the Lane Train does it and they put it all on Auburn, I think they got no choice but to let Harsin go, regardless of them not having an AD or not. So this is the one where it's kind of sickos because you're like, can Ole Miss do this? Or like Ole Miss struggled with the vaunted Vandy offense for a little bit.
For like that long until they just blew
Well,
the
first
wheels off
half,
them.
first half. I mean, they were losing at halftime, so Vandy was giving them grief. So if Auburn can't do that, can't do what Vandy did against Ole Miss,
They can't do what Vandy did against Ole Miss.
No.
I'm just saying if they can't do that, that kind of could spell Harsin's doom here.
Yeah.
And then Auburn has a bye week after this week, so the timing,
perfect. Done.
the timing to fire the coach is kind of there. So
I'll bet you. Hey, Commish. I'll bet
Okay.
you $5. I'll bet you
$5
$5 that by Sunday night when we record, Brian Harsin no longer has a job.
Okay. So
I'll
Sunday
bet
As
night.
an ancestral Auburn fan, I really, really hope that's true. I would also just like to take a second to like dive into the Auburn psyche because I can sort of see why losing to Ole Miss would be like, all right, that's it.
Mhm.
This
That's
is
enough.
over.
That's
kind of
enough of
thing.
this
'Cause,
crap.
like, I am young enough that like I don't think about Ole Miss being like garbage
Yeah,
because I remember like the Laquan Treadwell team and like the fun Ole Miss, but Ole Miss was, and both of the Mississippi schools are like historically what we think about Vanderbilt being.
Yeah, they were trash for a long time.
Yeah, so of course it's embarrassing when you lose to a Mississippi school. Like I totally understand all of that, plus like Auburn booster crazy, right? Like all of this tracks, and for the love of God, someone please put Auburn out of its misery already. I thought Brian Harsin was going to get fired 2 weeks ago, and he still hasn't gotten fired.
You think Juice Kiffin, the dog, can reverse Old Yeller, Brian Harsin?
Basically, Juice Kiffin walking Brian Harsin around back about the stadium. Come here, buddy. It's okay. It's so dark. It's so dark.
It's what it is. Like this is what Auburn. I mean, LSU hates to lose the Mississippi schools also,
Mhm.
and you know they lost to Ole Miss last year and they looked awful, and that was Coach O's dooming. In that situation, this is what it is. Auburn, Ole Miss. It's a mess. And if Ole Miss, which I mean, Ole Miss is not perfect. They're not like a machine, even though they're in the top 10. But if they take it to Auburn, I feel like Auburn's gonna have to pull the trigger.
At 8 p.m. on the Pac-12 network, Wazoo at Oregon State, which actually should be a good game. The only thing I have to say is boo, it's on the Pac-12 network, and the Pac-12 network hates fun.
That's
I will
gonna
fire
be
up my VPN. I will pick up some fun country to be from. I will
How do
watch
you
the
get
feed
a-
on YouTube.
I'm gonna have to figure out how to get a VPN because
Yeah,
I mean,
I just you can get one, like there's tons of free trials. I use NordVPN.
all right, we'll do
NordVPN
it.
sponsor us. Hey,
Done.
NordVPN.
Whatever.
Podcast sponsor.
I'll do it, and you know, I will pick a fun country, and
Yeah.
I gotta watch this one because I mean, I want the Beavers to be ranked because that's their
Yes,
last.
that's the big goal here. We need them to
That's
be
the
ranked.
last thing. But I love Wazoo too. Like I have always had like a soft spot for Wazoo.
Yeah.
So I mean, like the Beavers and Wazoo. I think I have a home field Beaver shirt that said that it's the angry beaver on like the oatmeal shirt that says
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Beaver believer, and I can't necessarily wear that when I drop my kid off at school when I'm walking to school.
Yes, you can. You coward.
Uh,
Coward.
I don't know, man. Fine, I'll wear it tomorrow. We'll see how it
Good.
goes.
There we go. There we go. Done. We missed, apparently, when we prepped our show notes, LSU in Florida, which is just going to be a weird, like, anxiety-filled game. 6 p.m. on ESPN. I think we skipped it just because it seemed very obvious that, like, no one's going to feel happy about this.
How did we miss this? Honestly, well, I mean, I wasn't really prepared, but whatever.
I trust other people to follow SEC that I don't. Like, I don't need that in my life. So I really don't follow SEC that closely.
Also, Florida is probably going to win, probably by a lot, but they're also going to feel bad about it. Like,
I don't know. honestly, I feel like I don't know what's going to happen because Napier is now the coach of Florida. LSU did not want to hire Napier, even though he was the coach of the Cajuns. Right, basically right next door. I mean, really, like Baton Rouge and Lafayette.
LSU does not think that any other school in that state exists, and they
I
refuse to
know.
hire them based on the fact that, like,
I mean,
There's
this
like a
just gives
bridge.
Billy Napier more reason to drop like 60 on him.
that is
But,
true.
I mean,
that is actually
but-
really true.
But can they? Honestly, again, this is the passive LSU fan coming out of me because that inner Louisiana coming out and in the Cajun, and this is the last game they played was the Cleat Yeet in Florida.
That's right. Yep, that's
and
right.
it was foggy. LSU and Florida always play ridiculously stupid games. I can't predict anything. There's never been really any blowout on either side of this in this situation. This was like the most animosity I've ever seen after a Tebow jump pass in this game. Like Tebow debuted the jump pass, I think, in an LSU Florida game. And LSU fans are still furious every time they see a jump pass. So like when somebody does that, it's just ridiculous. And so LSU fans, they want this game. Like, and Florida fans want this game, but they're not like rivals of each other. This is kind of like that lingering irk week that we had a few weeks ago. Like, it will irk whatever fan base loses this game. And Brian Kelly going to the swamp, which should be fun. Oh God, it's just gonna be so weird. And I believe Joe Tess is calling this.
I believe so.
So the last time Joe Tess called an LSU game was the Florida State LSU game this year, I think. So prepare for some weird shit.
Two other quick games to run through. We have Air Force versus UNLV in Vegas, 9:30 p.m. on CBS Sports, which means we get the CBS Sports theme cut over Vegas shots. And I just realized that because UConn and no, it's not. What's the one on CBS Sports? Is the weird one.
It's UConn and FIU, right?
No,
that's on Friday.
No, UTSA FIU, right?
That's on Friday.
Yeah, UTSA FIU, great, but we'll still get the CBS Sports theme over FIU.
Oh God,
yes. In my veins. The other one is a 1-5 versus 1-5 Maction, 11 a.m. on ESPN Plus, Central Michigan and Akron. This is for some reason is like the week that none of the MAC schools are playing the rivalry trophies. I kept trying to look for like the rivalry trophies in the Maction in MAC, and none of them are this week. So it was just sort of they're playing teams. We don't know yet what our Sickos game of the week is going to be. We're still sort of reading the tea leaves. I got the tarot cards out, flipping things over. I'm working on that. We're divining the truth using the ways we do that.
I think right now, like I'm looking at like the Sickos games of the week. We have like Cal in Colorado, Miami, Virginia Tech, LSU, Florida, New Mexico State, Nevada, and Hawaii, NC State in Syracuse. We have, I mean, honestly, I don't know. I need to sleep on it because there's a lot of like interesting games, but like not one or two are calling out to us.
I want to bring to you guys two 1v2 games that are happening this week. FCS 1v2. 1 North Dakota State is hosting number 2 South Dakota State for the Dakota Marker Trophy. This is a huge game, obviously. This is our 103rd meeting. North Dakota State leads the series 63, 44, and 5. South Dakota State has on a winning streak at the last 2, though. This usually decides the Missouri Valley Conference, and they play for the Dakota Marker Trophy, which is literally an old school state borderline marker that weighs 75 pounds.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I would also like to take this moment to plug for a tweet from No Context College Football that shows offensive tackle Cody Mauch, number 70 for North Dakota State, because he has a glorious mane of red hair.
He's beautiful. Oh my God.
Yeah. He looks a little bit like obnoxiously Pitt boyfriend, who is also ginger and also has a glorious mane. So I am very much here for I'm always rooting for North Dakota State anyway, but very much here for that.
We also have another 1v2 in D2. We have Ferris State, who I believe is ranked number 1 currently, facing off against Grand Valley State. Actually, I'm going to check that because I will get yelled at by our Grand Valley State fans.
Ooh.
Please direct all complaints to @BigGameBoomer.
That's
Exactly
right.
right.
That is
At Big Game Boomer.
Boomer.
Mm-hmm.
At Big Game
He loves
Boomer.
He loves talking D2 football. So absolutely,
Hit him.
absolutely.
How dare you? How dare you get this Anchor Bone Classic wrong?
Yeah, the Anchor Bone Classic.
So it's the Ferris State Bulldogs versus the Grand Valley State Lakers.
Yes.
Which,
Sorry. So Ferris State is ranked first. Grand Valley State is ranked second currently. Yes. They're
That's
both
right.
in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, Ferris State hockey team is pretty good from what I
Yes, they are.
remember.
Yes, they are.
so
They play D1 hockey. They play like
I'm
big,
partial
big
here. I'm gonna say that I'm kind of biased because I have a Grand Valley State home field shirt.
There you go.
So I have the Lakers home field shirt. I apologize to the Ferris State followers. I love my Grand Valley State Lakers, which is funny. I'm in Central Texas, South Central Texas, whatever, and I'm wearing a Grand Valley State, and they're like, "You're a Lakers fan?" And I'm like, "But I root for the Spurs." I'm like, "No, this is Grand Valley State, not those Lakers. These are the ones up in Michigan." And I'm gonna wear the Beaver one.
So Mario, you're talking about Beavers. That's the important
We're talking about
thing.
Beavers. Let's do it.
Hell yeah. Hey, Pitt Girl, tell me about pumpkins.
Record pumpkins. It is pumpkin season. I am in an area where the leaves are starting to turn as well. Happy fall. And entirely tangentially, we as the committee are very interested in very large pumpkins.
Yeah, we
So
are.
I'm going to throw it over to the commissioner.
So, you have the fall action going on. For some odd reason, this came across my timeline. So, in this situation, I've delved in the world of growing record-sized pumpkins right now, which is ridiculous. So, on October 5th, there was a pumpkin in New York State that set the North American record of a 2,554-pound pumpkin. And this happened in Clarence, New York at this New York Pumpkin Festival.
Okay.
6 days later, a pumpkin from Minnesota breaks the record, the North American record of 2,560 pounds. So by 6 pounds, breaks it 6 days later. So almost a pound a day. It's beautiful. So there was this guy, his name is Travis. It looks like Ginger, but I'm probably saying it wrong. Oh God, I cannot say this Minnesota town.
You're going to call it Anoka.
Anoka,
Yeah.
Minnesota.
That feels right.
Minnesota. That sounds right. He set the record and he won an annual pumpkin weighing contest in Northern California. So this guy was from Minnesota and he brought a pumpkin to Northern California. So he drove
it?
He drove the pumpkin for 35 hours to see if his hard work had paid off at the 49th World Championship Pumpkin Weigh-Off in Half Moon Bay, south of San Francisco. So he bought a seed that grew his earlier prize-winning pumpkin from 2020 for $80. And then this one, now he's going to be selling the seeds for $175, according to World Class Gardening. So apparently there's a magazine for this. The giant pumpkins produce about 800 seeds each, according to the New York Botanical Garden. So he just set the North American record for the heaviest pumpkin ever, and he had to drive it 35 hours. So this guy drove from Minnesota to California with a pumpkin in tow.
How big are this? Okay, so in my mind, I know that factually the seeds are probably the same size as normal seeds. But in my mind, they're like dinosaur eggs. They're like giant seeds.
So I follow a guy on TikTok that was growing a giant pumpkin also, and the thing that's extra wild about this is the way that they do it, because it's like a pumpkin vine, like one that you see in the pumpkin patch, whatever. But what they do is they go through and they prune all of the pumpkin flowers except for one, so then you just grow one plant off of an entire acre of one pumpkin off of an entire acre of vine. And so there's just you have this whole field of leaves that are feeding this one massive pumpkin, because you need all of that energy to grow the pumpkin, right? It's absolutely bonkers. Also, I did the math on how much money this guy will make if he's selling single seeds for $175 a pop. That is $140,000 pumpkin, not including whatever the prize for having the heaviest pumpkin is. So
so this is
get it.
Okay. Good to know.
So if I'm gonna retire and get a pumpkin farm and then just
Mhm.
go all in and growing pumpkins, and hopefully I can win. And I mean, this seems a little bit more lucrative than like horse racing. I mean, horse racing's tough. It's you gotta like feed it, but you could just cut the vines and try to go for a giant pumpkin. Now,
Got lower startup costs.
lower
Yeah, this
startup
feels like way
costs.
lower shark. Yeah.
Well, you need land for the pumpkin, and you need to get like a farm somewhere, but I still can't believe he drove 35 hours. Like, I mean, he had to be able to drive to New York much closer than driving to like Half Moon Bay in California for this. This is just
But people in the pumpkin world know that the New York contest isn't the contest to go to.
no.
If you got the big pumpkin, you got
You
to
got
go to
the big
California,
pumpkin.
baby.
You got to go
You
to
got to
California.
go.
That's
You
right.
got to go. That New York contest is for grandmas and their pies. The California contest, that's where
it's
men take pumpkins.
that's a
Okay,
legit. That's a legit. So now
pumpkins for men.
the pumpkins for men. That's right. So like I was reading the article, like they decorate the pumpkin and they like drag it
Like
around
a
in like a parade.
jack-o'-lantern.
Yeah, like they drag it around for like the parade. There's like a parade and stuff. It's ridiculous. They decorate the pumpkin. It's incredible. So
like Achilles dragging the corpse of Paris behind him
I
around the walls of Troy, just
seriously.
dragging this giant ass pumpkin behind you. God.
So again, like the record in North America now was set today, essentially as we're recording this. So 2,560 pounds, North American record. Now this is not the world record, not the Guinness Book world record. The world record was last year in 2021. It was an Italian farmer. So Italy grew one for 2,702 pounds and then add the 13.9 ounces to that. So almost 2,703 pounds in this situation. They
They're
won
ahead
it.
of the game. They're ahead of the
I,
game.
I put the
score
picture.
finds a way.
I
Good score
put
finds it, huh?
That's right. I put the picture of the Italians celebrating their giant pumpkin last year. They're like screaming, they're celebrating, there's a thumbs up. It's amazing. The farmer said that he wasn't looking at the scale when it happened. And then he said that like some of his friends turned him around when he saw it. So you see like the weigh in, it's like 1,226 kilograms. And then the best thing that I see in the back of this picture, against the wall, there's like a divider. It says Agra Italia. Mamma mia, we got the biggest
Hey.
pumpkin. We got the biggest pumpkin in the world. So the 2,702 pounds. I'm just gonna give you some weight references here in this situation. So the fifth lightest vehicle in the world, in this case, is a Nissan Versa. It is 2,650 pounds. So if you ever see like those Nissan Versas like driving
Yeah.
on the interstate or on the road next to you, this pumpkin is bigger than that. That's how big it
Yes.
is.
Yes,
And
this
I think
pumpkin is a like vintage air-cooled Volkswagen Beetle and a half.
Well, I guess we know what we're doing when we get a little bit of land and we start the Sickos commune.
the
We're
Sickos
dedicating.
Committee Farm,
Are
we're
you guys
just growing
are you guys growing food for yourselves? No. The whole
no
field, it's for one pumpkin.
straight pumpkins, homie.
No, what pumpkins? Pumpkin. We only do
pumpkin.
Single
one.
pumpkin.
Single
One
pumpkin.
single
Pumpkin
pumpkin.
Highlander. There can only be one.
There can only be one giant pumpkin.
It's
And
th-
we
in
will
my mind, it's like plugging in 40 extension cords for one light bulb. Like just a field of extension cords. What does that all do? Oh, it runs the one light in the middle. It's that one fluorescent bulb. It's a
It's
real
like
fucking bright bulb though.
it's like the National Lampoons where he plugs in all those things together,
Mm-hmm.
and we're just combining all the vines and then just lights up the house that just shines from space. Yeah, that's basically what it is. So whenever, we start selling merchandise and things of that nature, we're just gonna go away and try to get a Sickos commune, and definitely just try to grow one giant pumpkin. We'll eat pumpkin pie, drink pumpkin spice coffee, just nothing but pumpkins. That's what we're gonna live off of.
It can't be tasty though, right? Like it can't be tasty.
It is
Like
not
big
a
things
pie
like that. There's no
pumpkin.
way it can be tasty.
It's not a
I-
pie pumpkin.
No.
It's not necessarily a pie pumpkin, but maybe we can make some pumpkin empanadas for breakfast or something like
Okay.
that.
Mm.
Oh my god! Like I just saw this and I was like, I had to delve into this world, and he's selling seeds Just a single seed. Like you could eat like those David pumpkin seeds. You get like a bag of those for like 99
I was just thinking, like the most luxurious rich asshole thing you could do is buy a bag of these pumpkin seeds and roast them and just chew on them.
Jeff
Add them as a
Bezos.
topping to that like stupidly expensive ice cream sundae at that one place in New York.
Yep.
Yeah.
Giant pumpkin seeds. Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are just buying these pumpkin seeds to just eat them and flaunt them in our face.
Pitt Girl, you got anything else?
I will be thinking about pumpkins for the next week.
That's all right.
Since it's bye week
It's
and
Halloween.
I have nothing else to think about.
That's right. You'll think about Izzy eating pumpkins
Yes.
and growing pumpkins.
Commish, what you got? Anything else?
No, I really, at this point, I wanted to talk about these pumpkins, which is great. This week is going to be weird. You know, it's a lot of fun for us because, like, there's normally a game that calls to us. There's normally that's something that points to us. But this week it doesn't happen. There's nothing that is, like, immediately pointing, like, pick me for the Sickos game of the week.
Right.
I like having to sleep on it. And then normally I wake up like a week or two, a day or two later, not a week. Jesus.
A week or two later.
No, I am not sleeping. God, my toddler would not let me sleep that long ever. But
I think
wake
if you
up,
actually got to sleep, you would sleep for 2 weeks.
like when these weeks happen, when we have to put it to a vote, I think the one that we had to put to a vote last time was an Iowa game, right? Iowa, Nevada.
Mm-hmm.
There was like a weather delay for like 4 hours. So we may poll everybody. You may not be happy with the 4 choices, but we may do it again because honestly, I don't know. And there's not necessarily in our Discord, there's not a lot of agreement on the Sickos game of the week. So again, we appreciate you for listening to this. Thank you for indulging our pumpkin talk. I will definitely have some pumpkin pie later. And I wish you a happy yes, haha, yes. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll definitely follow up with you after this one.
We'll see you guys after week 7. We'll record Sunday night, and we'll see you guys probably Monday afternoon or Tuesday. Too many Mai Tais. Good God.
Too many Mai Tais.
Good night, guys.